Your website is live, right now, on the internet, accessible to anyone on Earth with a connection and the browser. You built it. Every pixel, every button, every line of code that tells the browser what to show, where to show it, and what happens when someone touches it. You are 19 years old. You have been coding for 4 months. You use a YouTube tutorial, a free code editor, and a laptop that overheats if you run more than 3 tabs. And something you built is live on the internet. That feeling, that specific, unrepeatable feeling of seeing your creation exist in the real world for the first time, is why millions of people choose this career. It is also the last simple moment you will ever have in it. Because front-end development is one of the most deceptively complex disciplines in all of software engineering. It looks like making things pretty. It is actually the intersection of design, psychology, performance engineering, accessibility, browser compatibility, state management, security, and human behavior all happening simultaneously, all visible to the user, all judged instantly by anyone who clicks. The backend breaks, and nobody sees it until it is fixed. The front end breaks, and 10 million users see it in real time. That is the job. And it starts exactly where you are right now, with a blinking cursor, an empty file, and a question you are about to spend your entire career answering. How do I make this work for everyone? Level 1. The beginner. You learn HTML first. It takes 1 afternoon to understand the basics. Tags, elements, structure. The skeleton of every web page on Earth built from the same fundamental syntax invented in 1991. You feel confident immediately. This is a trap. You learn CSS next. CSS looks simple. It is not simple. It is a system of cascading rules, specificity hierarchies, inheritance chains, and layout models that has confused professional developers for 20 years and continues to produce bugs that make senior engineers stare at their screens in silence. You spend 40 minutes trying to center a div. Welcome to front-end development. You will laugh about this later. Right now, you will not laugh about it. You build your first real project, a personal portfolio website. You copy layouts you admire, you adjust colors until they feel right, you write your first JavaScript, a button that changes the background color when clicked. It works. You add it to your GitHub. You share the link with 3 people. 2 of them say it looks great. 1 of them opens it on their phone and tells you it looks broken. You did not know responsive design was a thing. Now you do. You spend the next week making it work on every screen size you can find. This is your first encounter with the core tension of front-end development. Something can work perfectly in one context and be completely broken in another. Browser differences, screen sizes, connection speeds, device capabilities, user settings, accessibility needs. The front-end developer's job is not to make something work. It is to make something work for everyone, everywhere, every time. That realization changes how you write every line of code from this point forward. You discovered JavaScript properly, not the background color button, real JavaScript, variables, functions, arrays, objects, DOM manipulation, event listeners, asynchronous operations, promises, fetch requests. Every concept opens 3 more concepts underneath it. You Google things constantly, not occasionally, constantly. You copy code from Stack Overflow and modify it until it does what you need. You do not always understand why it works. You ship it anyway. Every beginner does this. The ones who grow are the ones who go back later and figure out the why. You start going back. You apply for your first internship. Your portfolio has 3 projects. 1 of them is genuinely good. You get rejected from 11 companies. You get 1 interview. You're asked to center a div on a whiteboard. You know how to do this now. You get the internship. $18 an hour, 3 months, a real company, a real code base. The first time you open the production code base, you feel something specific. Not excitement, dread. They are 847 files. The folder structure makes no immediate sense. There are technologies listed in the packets.json you have never heard of. There are comments in the code referencing decisions made in 2019 by people who no longer work there. This is normal. Every developer feels this on day 1 of every new code base for their entire career. The feeling does not mean you do not belong. It means you have arrived somewhere real. Level 2, the junior developer. You are hired full-time. $62,000 in a mid-sized city.
$85,000 if you are in London or Amsterdam, more if you landed somewhere in San Francisco or New York and somehow afforded to live there. Your title says Junior Front-End Developer. Your actual job is fix the bugs nobody else wants to touch and build the features that are too small for senior engineers to prioritize. You do both, gladly, because every bug is a lesson and every small feature is a complete ownership cycle from ticket to production. You encounter your first JavaScript framework, React, or Vue, or Angular, depending on the company. Probably React. The world is probably React right now. You spent months learning JavaScript, and now someone is telling you to think in components, in state, in props, in a virtual DOM that abstracts away the actual DOM you just spent months learning to manipulate. You resist it briefly, then it clicks. And when it clicks, you cannot imagine building anything without it. This will happen with every major technology you learn in this career. Resistance, confusion, click, conversion. You push code to production for the first time. Not a side project, not a tutorial, real code, real users. You watch the deployment pipeline run, green checks appearing one by one. Deployed. You open the live site and navigate to the feature you built. It works, exactly as designed, exactly as tested. You feel something that does not have a clean name. Competence, maybe. The first real evidence that you belong in this room. 3 weeks later, your code causes a bug in production. A styling issue that only appears on Safari on iOS 15, which you did not test, because you did not know you needed to test Safari on iOS 15 specifically. Now, you know. You fix it in 40 minutes. You write a note in the team's testing checklist. Always verify Safari mobile. Your tech lead sees the note. She says, "Good catch. Good documentation." She does not say, "How did you miss this?" You file that away. How a team handles mistakes tells you everything about whether you will grow there or just survive there. You start understanding the gap between what you know and what senior developers know. It is not mainly syntax. You can look up syntax. It is judgment. Knowing when to use a library and when to write the code yourself. Knowing when a design is technically implementable but will perform so badly it should be renegotiated. Knowing when to ask for help and when to spend another 30 minutes pushing through independently. Knowing which corner to cut and which corner is load-bearing. Judgment cannot be Googled. It accumulates, one decision at a time, one mistake at a time, one code review comment at a time. You start paying attention to every code review comment like it is a lesson, because it is. You get your first performance review. Meets expectations. Strong technical growth noted. Communication could be more proactive. You absorb every word. You start speaking up more in meetings. Not to perform confidence, because you realize that staying quiet when you have a relevant thought is not humility. It is a habit that will cap your career if you let it calcify. You stop letting it calcify. Level 3, the mid-level developer. Something shifts around year 2. Not dramatically, not overnight.